I think we're live.
My God, are we live, internets? Hello, peoples.
We may
Peoples?
we may be live.
We may be live. Let me verify this statement. I'm checking Warp Charge Gaming's page.
We are live,
We are
dude.
live now. I'm sorry, internet. We've had a little bit of a hiccup here.
Yeah, but we figured it out. We troubleshooted.
James
And
the man right now, killing it.
it's really not me. It's George. Even though he's not here, he has graced us with the gift of his technology understanding of things.
While
even
he's
know.
driving.
While he's driving, he was able to troubleshoot, contact customer support, get us the serial number deactivated, reactivated for game show, so that we can be here together with you on the 1st of November.
What up, Comet? Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, technology's crazy. Don't do stuff like that on the phone while you're driving. But thank you, George.
Yes. Yes. So he will not be joining us, or maybe he will be joining us, but he might be joining us via text in the chat. So 40k is kind of crazy right now with these orcs, I hear.
Yeah, no kidding. That's I mean, orcs I've seen so far. I mean, just to kind of jump into like the tip of the iceberg for what I've seen for orcs already. The only complaint I see any orc players having at this point is they're like, "Oh, we didn't get a lot of heavy weapons options to deal with knights." But I see other orc players immediately arguing with them. You know, we have tools, like we have a lot of shots, like this is what our army does. Like I see people hailing the book as positive already. I mean, I at least like a lot of what I've seen so far. I mean, I'm not the orc player, but I don't know. I think it's gonna aptly shake up the meta. I think it's we need more good Xenos books out there that are not Eldar or Chaos or Imperium, like the standalone factions, to like get representation. I feel like I'm happy to see it, especially armies like the standalone factions like Necrons or Orcs that don't really have allies, more so than armies even like Tyranids.
Yeah, I have not dove into all these pre-leaks. Well, I don't even know if you call them leaks. Like, obviously, once it goes on pre-order, then the world can see it via YouTube or walk into their local shop and pick up the store copy and give a gander so that they can get the pre-order in. But I have not done that. But it is hard not to hear the conversations that are starting on the interwebs about like Killicans having the grot keyword and then having this crazy special stratagem. And another really crazy thing is like they can shoot down planes now, and they auto explode when they shoot them down. And then like I believe Snakebite has Melta that has like 2d6 damage if it takes down a plane. So yeah, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And just like what boys can do. Interesting cap on the like WoG energy aspect. Like when you have 10 boys near you, you get +1 to your psychic cast. They capped it at 3. So that was kind of cool.
I mean, I will say it's kind of I'm glad to see. I mean, kind of glad to see. I guess it's not super important, but it's nice to see that all of the clan factions did match all the early leaks. A lot of the early leaks seem to be accurate.
Or if it just auto fixes because it says the stream has resumed.
Hello, stream. I apologize if we lost you guys there for a moment. What up, Gordito? Glad to see you. We are not running on our standard equipment at the moment, so what we're having happen is a few hiccups left and right. But back up.
Hey, we still make this happen. It's called commitment. We have it. We're not just cheating whores. Maybe whores, but not cheating whores.
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong.
But because these leaks are right about orcs, that must really excite you about Gene Stealers.
Oh my God, I'm so excited about Gene Stealers, James.
Begin the rants.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of salt welcomed here, but like this actually something you said with the planes auto exploding for snake bites actually makes me feel more like these leaks are going to be accurate. because there's stratagems in the Gene Stealer cult to force vehicle explosions, both friendly and or enemy. There's stratagems to make some of their nastiest weapons. For one command point, the Industrial Brutality stratagem lets you take the mining weapons such as the rock drill, the rock saw, and the rock cutter, double your attacks just straight up. They're really like 20-point weapons that are on like 5 up armor save dudes that get like 4 attacks, and they're gross because when they deal wounds, you can roll in like one of the weapons. It's like on a 2 up you deal a mortal, then you do it on a 3 up you deal a mortal, then on a 4 up you deal another mortal, and it keeps going till you fail it basically. That's one of the weapons, literally. It's like this strength 8 kind of like power fist. It's like, oh yeah, when I wound you, you're just gonna keep taking mortals until I start failing rolls. It's disgusting, and now you're just gonna have like double attacks for 1 command point. What? Sorry, everyone on the internet. I'm gonna slow down my speech. I'm just obviously excited. The other big one, there was oh my goodness, I can't remember what it was called. It was Numbers Beyond Counting for 3 command points. This is likely, if it's accurate, going to be a what's it called? Similar to your Alpha Legion, what is it? Forward operatives.
Yes.
Yes. This is probably gonna be once a game because of the way it is, if it's accurate. But
are you thinking of Tide of Traders when they come back?
Tide of Traders, yes.
Yeah, that's an Alpha Legion thing. That's just an Chaos Space Marine thing.
You are correct. That's right. This is 3 command points. Remove a unit from the board and redeploy it at full strength via Cult Ambush. 3 command points. Disgusting for a unit of like 20 Gene Stealers or like 10 Abominant or Aberrants. This is a unit that you're going to pay, like upwards of 240 points. So to be able to spend 3 command points and be like, oh yeah, it's back on the board at full strength when it had like 1 or 2 models left, that's really, really gross. Obviously one of the big favorites. Another big one is that they leaked the Warlord traits. I don't have a list of all of them up, but really only one matters. It's the one that everyone says matters. Trait number 6, Ambush Leader. There's actually a page. I'm going to put up a link. I think I can't put up links in YouTube, unfortunately, can I? I'll try, but there is a page that is actually of Warlord trait on the website, the Tyranid Hive. I did just put a link in the chat. Excellent. 6, Ambush Leader. You just get to pick what your cult ambush result is, which obviously you pick a 6 because then you just place 9 inches away and get a full movement. You do this to your Warlord, and your Warlord can actually have a unit ride with him. So like you have your Warlord, like a Broodlord, automatically pick 6 on Cult Ambush and take 20 Gene Stealers with him. Pretty much means one of the nastiest tools in the game now has like a 100% success rate.
Wow.
It's really, really gross. I do apologize to everyone on the stream. I have to let somebody in the house in a second. But I will be popping off for like 2 minutes at most. But I'm going to continue to talk Gene Stealer Cult until they're at my door.
Dude, but I have to stop you for a second because Gordito Spree just hooked us up with $10. He's buying drinks.
Gordito, dude, you are wonderful.
Whoa,
man.
Intense. You're blowing my mind, sir. Like,
also, what up, Ryan?
Yes, we have to say hi to Ryan. Comment. We appreciate our fans that join us on these Thursdays that we commit to, even without our fearless leader, George.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm excited about these Gene Stealer Colts. It makes me want them.
They are, and so what immediately screams to me is that a lot of the tricks that people add, what's it called, Tyranids or Gene Stealer Cult to Tyranids with, just got even better. There is a stratagem that we don't really know the cost on yet. It's just like literally when an Abominant would die, instead like redeploying with Cult Ambush. It's like some shenanigans.
I love those shenanigans. It's my favorite part of the game. Like, it's gonna just obsess me when people start doing this against me, and I'm like, why can't my Chaos Space Marines do this?
It's shocking. I mean, there's so many strats that they've already, like, in the same thread that I've put up in the link. Everyone is saying, take it with a grain of salt, take it with a grain of salt. I agree completely because we haven't seen more formal links, but these are all from the same source, and we have a page of book on the first page. I would watch out. I think on page 3 or 4 of this thread, if you're actually reading through, somebody actually put up like a wish list of stuff they want for psychic powers. It's not actually leak powers because people on forums just kind of do what they want. But as it stands, yeah. I'm going to have to pop off for a moment. But I apologize. As soon as I get this person in the house, I will be back on the screen.
Dude, it's totally cool, man. Appreciate your insight on the Gene Stealers because, yeah, we know how hyped you are about running those cult around, doing some cult ambush. But yeah, orcs. I'm excited to see what they do to the meta. Like, there's lots of tournaments popping up right now. Lots of people chiming in about what's hot with post FAQ. It's interesting that Shield captains kind of disappeared and or not Shield captains, Smash captains, and then Shield captains came in and like they were hot when they first came out. Smash captains came more hot, and then now Shield captains are back, just all doing the thing. Yeah, man, it's super exciting stuff. Like when I'm going to these tournaments now, I just see the potential when they just change like how certain armies can play, and it just overall changed like what you're going to see, and then it changed how people are going to like respond to that, and it just keeps going and going and going, and it's amazing how fast people can adapt, and these orcs are just going to change even more. And then these Gene Stealers with all these leaks, it's like it's blowing my mind in the 40k world right now. Absolutely blowing my mind. So hobby progress, did a display. I wish I had a picture of it right now that I could show you, but we don't have the equipment that George has for me to be able to show you actually what I can do and present it to you. But 3D printed the exact inserts for the 9 eyes or eyes of 9, the Zinch shade spire. It's a little display piece, and then I fused it to a piece of wood, painted it really nice, and then I put epoxy all around the side so it had a gloss to it. So when it's in a display cabinet or something, it catches that eyes like from the lights. But that's super cool that I've done. Didn't get a whole lot of other things done because of Halloween. I mean, when you have a 4-year-old and Halloween falls on a Wednesday and most towns do it on Saturday or Sunday, my kid get to go trick-or-treating 3 times. He cashed in on 15 pounds of candy. And we have a little deal with our kid. Instead of letting him eat 15 pounds of candy or letting it just sit in our house forever, we actually donate it, and we do an exchange with him. We do $2 for a pound. So the kid cashed in on $30.
Yeah, that's smart. I would rather have the money.
Yeah, no, he as a 4-year-old, he gets it.
It's good. It's a good move. It's a very good move.
Yeah, it's super cool for me.
Especially because real talk, I know like when I was a kid, I got big. I would crush some candy. It took me a long time to get back down, but freaking, my God, I could chew. There was like one year I was like 12 or 13, man. I got like 4 cavities one year. That's the most I got ever. Actually, that's all I got ever. But too much candy. Money's better.
Money is definitely better. But it was just crazy because like Saturday and Sunday it was all cold and rainy, and then yesterday it was just so gorgeous. It was like 65 degrees. Like all the trees are changing colors. It was fantastic. But now it's November and we still don't have the Orc Codex, and I feel lied to by GW. So disappointed. I just don't know why. Like I don't even play Orcs, but I'm disappointed. October, and we have to wait till November.
Yeah, that is kind of a cop out. I will say they did really good controlling their information. It feels like it didn't seem like they were being really like teasing. Like I felt like what they did with a lot of other codexes, especially considering that the leaks that were early on were accurate. You would almost think like they'd be like more forthcoming. But I don't know. It does seem delayed. I mean, we were told, I think, what was it, Wolves and Cult before the new year? We got Wolves. So I'm just excited for Cult. I imagine they're gonna hit December, maybe January at the latest, based off of what they did to Orcs. But we'll find out.
Yeah, definitely end November status.
I hope so. I mean, it'd be cool to have it right before Christmas. I'm sure they could do something cool in terms of the community page, as far as like doing up a Santa style Gene Stealer cult army with elves and what, or like little workshop kind of people. Um, it seems like the kind of thing Games Workshop might do. But I think I'm excited for it. I mean, I have a lot of models. I have a lot of war gear. I have a lot. I traded all my knights. Actually, I used to have 5 Imperial Knights. I've traded all of them for Imperial Guard stuff to flash out my cult, But stoked.
Yeah, I know you're really excited to also wait to see if you can get multiple Bane Blades.
Oh yeah, so like for those that don't know, early on for Gene Stealer Cult Rumors, there was a page leaked out of the book because they kind of have a really tenuous allies sort of allowance with the Brood Brothers and Guard at the moment. Like you can take a Guard detachment if you have a cult detachment, as long as there are no named characters and you don't get any of the regiment keywords. The list we saw in the page that got leaked forever ago had a list of vehicles that Gene Stealer Cult was allowed to take. And on that list of vehicles, the Baneblade was not on there. Actually, basically no Forge World was on there at all. So that's kind of disconcerting. I've been really excited. I want to buy 3 Baneblades and run 3 Baneblades in a cult army just because why not? I don't think it would be good, especially with chapter approved suggesting they're going to get a points hike. But it would be a cool, awesome conversion project. And I would be happy to throw hundreds of dollars at that because why not? I've already thrown money at everything else. Super excited for those. I don't know. Did you mention on the stream, James, that you'd printed me the new Spires yet, or was that strictly when we were
that was pre-stream in the figuring out phase and how to go live.
So, for those that don't know, if you've not watched our show before, those that are familiar with Horizon 3D, we have, I purchased a set of the Tyranid terrain from them. James has painted it up for me because James is our master painter in studio.
Oh, I think you went quiet on me, bro.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Accidentally muted myself, sorry. But we bought a bunch of the STL files from Mr. Curtis Malone, who runs 3D Horizon Printer or whatever, and Horizon 3D, and it's super exciting because since we're doing the 3D printer business stuff, and James is awesome and jumped on that real big. He has basically been my Christmas factory, just printing off a whole Tyranid table for me. I bought the Tyranid fat mat. I think it's the fat mat specifically. I literally have terrain on the table behind me that I'm supposed to have sent James already. I'm being terrible about that. But I had to play a game and then I meant to send it and then I didn't. But essentially, I'm going to have a gorgeous Tyranid table. And it's not one of those projects you see every day because, a lot of the terrain is catered very much to Imperials or you see a lot of fantasy terrain thrown in. 3D printing, especially with tabletop alchemy or the new 3D printing venture in general, is going to be a lot cooler way for us to put together insane projects. I mean, the sky's really the limit. I mean, you guys have seen probably, well, you haven't seen it during our battle reports, but that amazing 3D green screen rig we have. That George literally uses to stream other games because it's like really almost a perfect piece. The fact that it even has our like logos and stuff etched into it is that just makes it more of like a labor of love. Thank you. Obviously, you guys put that out there for us. Dude, I mean the ideas for like even Gene Stealer Cult. Now that I think about it, that would be. I wonder if I could take like some third-party orc terrain and make that culted up. Almost certainly. Let's spend more money on a table.
Comment. 3D printing kind of cost is relative It all depends on what you're trying to accomplish.
That's true.
You can get many degrees of a cost of like your printer. I mean, you can have a cheap $200 printer to upwards to a couple grand just for your desktop, like at home hobby printer. And then as far as filaments, I mean, you can go cheap Chinese stuff where it's like $7 a kilogram, or really good stuff, which is like $25 a kilogram. And then your cost of electricity can vary. I mean, there's just so much that can change. So many variables. It's too much to calculate. But yeah, I really enjoyed 3D printing. It's so much fun. It's quite time consuming. It's actually very surprising my printer is off at the moment, because I have been printing so many things. Like I just installed a pegboard up here, and I've printed so many different little mounts for all my paints. So I have my paint rack on my wall, and I didn't even have to pay for any of it besides the plastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, Comet. I think James Comet is asking actually specifically like, so like for your configuration right now, what does it about cost you for like a small? What would you say like even like what's that one piece of terrain that like used what was like a half a roll?
The Biotitan.
The Biotitan.
Yes, that took 36 hours. The Illinois average kilowatt per hour is 15 cents. So you would take 36 times 15 cents. That'll equal how much electricity costs you're using. And then there's the program that tells me how much like meters of plastic I'm using and how much weight that is. And then I've put in how much it costs me for the entire roll, and it will figure out for me how much that print will cost. And I think that was like $12.
Yeah, it's like a $12 really nice piece of terrain, which I mean, we've seen.
And then you add the cost of electricity. It ends up being like a $30 piece. And then wear and tear in the machine, you're going to break that cost into it. I'm sure there's algorithms to figure that out. And then if you're doing it as a business, then it would be like your setup and take up time of the machine compared to other things. So still things to figure, but roughly it's like a $32 piece that disappeared in 3 days.
Yeah. Oh, Comet actually used to live in Illinois, apparently.
Not a big fan. I'm originally from Florida. I used to live out in Washington State, also Pacific Northwest.
My God, yeah. I'm learning things.
Yeah, I prefer the West Coast, honestly. It's all my West Coast people.
Man, you ended up like right in the middle of the country, like ping pong between both sides, and ended up in the middle.
Yeah, well, I was here before. Parents
oh, really?
Me here. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alton, come to Wisconsin. It's the best.
Oh, dude, I spend most of my time in Wisconsin. I literally live in Antioch. It's on the Wisconsin border. And Michael, you are 100% right. The Ender 3 is a great starter printer, especially if you're a tinkerer and want to like learn your machine from the inside and out, because it's a kit. You have to put it together. So there's a little bit more like things that can go wrong. So a lot of people buy like spare part kits before they even try to put it together. But it's fantastic. That's actually my next printer. It's an Ender 3, just because it's $200. Like, why not?
I was gonna say, in our time when we went up to Chicago up there, I was a big fan of the different scene compared to Virginia. You guys.
This the drunks?
Listen, I don't have that here. Okay, Virginia has, like, I think we've had this discussion. They have tyrannical alcohol laws.
Yeah, there's just lots of bars, and every bar has like gaming machines. So it's just like, get drunk and gamble. We want you to spend your money here.
Hey, I mean, exactly.
But that's not really 40k related, or Age of Sigmar related, or Shadespire related.
That's true.
Or Kill Team. We haven't even talked Kill Team. I bet we have a lot of Kill Team fans out there that are like, Because like commanders just came out. Like, have you gotten on the commander stuff?
I have looked a little bit at it. I definitely can't tell you. I've seen so many other people talk about it that they're super excited for their own faction in their own way. I get it. Because I've looked a little bit at the Gene Stealer cult and the Tyranids. Obviously, since those are my go-tos. Even George has kind of had his was scratching his head. The Broodlord is like way too expensive almost to really even field. Um, I mean, there's like one configuration you can run him in kill teams. That's kind of interesting, but it ends up taking like 196 of your 200 points. and yeah, I mean the commanders are awesome. I think you're gonna see a lot of people run them at like level 2 and or 3. 4 is gonna be less common because that's where you're gonna be less optimized. Um, there's ways to get bonus command points. There's ways to this is a big one. There's ways to make your stratagems cheaper. There's ways to make your opponent's stratagems more expensive. On top of the fact there's more ways to get command points. There's just such an added level of depth to the game with commanders, and additionally a lot of the characters have auras that let you use units in different ways. I know the warrior has like a 1 command point aura. That's one big thing, is that the auras cost you command points to activate for the turn. And freaking essentially for like 50 to 75 points you can have a good character that is a buff character for Tyranids. And there's ways to double down on specialists too. Like you can I'm not sure the specifics on how to do it, but I know you can like be level 2 1 specialism, and there's a way to like unlock another like level 1 specialism in a completely different tree, which is disgusting, honestly. Like I can have a commander who's like a heavy gunner, and it just seems like. And another thing too, this is something that when I first discussed with Connor, I think this is something I touched on a little bit last week's episode. I was under the impression every faction only got 1 commander. That is not at all the case. Tyranids have 2, Gene Stealer Cult have 3, some factions have as many as 4. It's a really broad expansion. I don't know what that means for Harlequins. I'm honestly not sure. If anyone out there knows in the chat, please let us know. I know we've got a few viewers right now. For those, Gordito, you're using Cadre. That's awesome for Tau. Tau is always a faction that terrifies me. I think it's a good player. But yeah, those drones and everything. They're a faction that I've played them in kill teams. I feel like I played the objective game better, but I lose like everything against Tau. Besides that, let's see, commanders. I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed offhand. George is probably like either listening or gonna watch on the back end and be like, Chris, how the hell did you miss this? But yeah, I think it does change the game points level from 100 points to 200 points. One of my big questions is what kind of points allocation we're going to see in most standard competitive lists. Whether people go like the full half on the commander in specializations, because you can pay points to like upgrade the level of your specializations up to the 4th level, which is something you couldn't do in match play before, if I'm not mistaken. You could only get, I think, before to like level 1 or 2. And that alone is a big game changer, because there's whole tech trees that were purely for like narrative play that are unlocked now, if you're willing to pay the points. And a host of stratagems. I mean, I think kill teams, and I've heard people say this both online and in person, whether it's my boss Mike or other people, like it's a competitive game in a nature that is different than 40k. I think it's more competitive than 40k, which is dangerous to say, but I only think that's the case because, as I think George has said, it doesn't come off as much pay to play because your forces are so much smaller. Like, there's not going to be a new big wave release for Kill Team Commanders. It's going to be like, oh, this is new. I mean, Commanders to an extent, but like most of these models are models that people already have for their armies, like Lictors or Warriors or Broodlords or some of the named characters for other armies. Cadre Fireblade, for example. I'm excited to see it, especially also now with the Road Trader stuff coming out. I think Kill Teams is going to be one of their funneling points for how they release characters to flesh out that as a faction in 40k. Because I do think they're going to add the Kill Teams in for what is it, the Road Trader faction in 40k, which is still relatively new.
Well, they do have rules for it already.
They do.
It came with the box.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious about this new Black Fortress that's coming out. New models. And they just released this like AdMech cultist looking dude. He looks sweet. I would love a whole like 120 of those just for Iron Warriors cultists.
Who I was talking with.
They have that drone. I'm curious what this drone's going to do, and if all these things are going to have rules for 40k. I want to spam drones.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the automata looking thing in the tease that looks like it's one of those Cataphracti destroyer looking things. I forget what the AdMech robot thing, the Castellan robots maybe. I'm bad on their names because they're robot things. I know organic things like Tyranids, but freaking that looks cool. I think it's going to be kind of like Kill Teams. I think it's going to be one of those kind of RP-ish style games, and not like Kill Teams is RP-ish, that lets people that are veteran players, people like tons of other people I know that have been in the hobby for years or even just a few years, that have all these models they cannot use in 40k because they have shit rules. And it's exciting because I know a lot of people, people get emotionally attached to their minis. Like, you take all this time, you paint this one Necron Overlord for 30 hours, and then it's like, oh, he died to like, a round of bolter fire or something. I don't know. Like Demon Mechanicus, Gordito Spray, or Gordito Spree, yeah, that would be a cool way for them to break in. Even Dark Mechanicum, more of the Chaos version of Mechanicum is some of these tertiary games. That would certainly be preferable. Conquest Magazine, I'm not familiar. Comet, are they releasing like a regular publication for Conquest? I mean, I guess that's what that implies, right? Sorry to ask a stupid question. Thank you, fans.
Thing is stupid questions, just stupid people.
Yay, even better. All right, let's see. More regiment models for Kill Team. Oh, it's on the Warhammer community page. My goodness. I'm going to check this out right now. I appreciate the heads up.
Since the last time we've talked, I also have gone to a team tournament with Mr. Robles that has joined us on chat multiple times. And we took home the victory. And the 3-time reigning champ at that place for their team tournament.
I expect nothing less from the best Khorne Daemonkin player.
But second with Robles, and yeah, it was interesting first game, man. We had a lot of models, like a lot. Like I think my 1,000 points alone was over 100 models, and then he had three knights. Well, 1 renegade knight and then 2 baby renegade knights, and yeah, we didn't lose a single model.
That's crazy.
That just doesn't seem like right. Like, they conceded turn 2 because in one more turn they would have been tabled, and it wasn't like we meant to do that. They just like deployed really bad, and everything we did just worked. And then they just tried to retaliate, and it didn't work. So it was just like an outclassing. It was like the store owner with like a new guy. And yeah, it's kind of like luck was on our side, but just to not lose a model in a game, that was the first time it's ever happened to me.
That's crazy.
How do you not lose a model with that many bodies?
I don't think I've ever had that happen.
Yeah, me neither. It was insane. And then our second game came, and it's a buddy of ours that is normally there. He's pretty competitive, and he had the Forge World Knight with the double flamer, and then he had the new Big Knight with the harpoon.
Yeah, old Ahab is he's quite the force.
Yeah, but his partner dropped out, who had a perfect like pairing for him. So his partner was like a pickup dude at the store, and he had Dark Eldar with like the boats and like people inside the boats.
The canoes.
Yeah, and like on paper it looks good, but like obviously that type of matchup needed to be like rehearsed.
I've heard on paper it looks good for so many things that are having to do with Necrons.
It wasn't Necrons, but yeah. So they got the first turn, and he comes plowing into us, gets the charge off, just kills some cultists, and then in the shooting phase, it took every bit of shooting, all targeting one big knight with the harpoon, put everything into it to the last fire. The last wound goes through, and it dies. So that was our shooting phase. And then in the chart, and like the assault aspect of the game, my Khorne Demon Prince with this huge axe goes in, swings twice, and wrecks the other knight. And like they just killed like maybe 16 cultists their turn one, and we killed both their big knights turn one, going second.
That hurts a lot.
Yeah. So from that point on, it was literally just like we're shooting their stuff, and then they're shooting their like lance melta stuff, and I just felt so bad for this dude because he just rolled so cold.
Oh like, no! And you don't have a lot of rolls left when you only have like what?
Yeah. So I mean like so cold. Like his like next turn of shooting was like killing 4 cultists, and then we would pop like 2 or 3 boats, and then the next turn come and he'd kill like 6 cultists, and then we pop the remaining boats, and then like 2 units outside that have been now just stranded, and then after that it was just concession.
That's the way it goes.
So we were pretty high going into game 3. And then game 3 came about, and we were playing a dude who works at a GW store and his buddy that came in, and they're pretty hyped up with their Raven Wing and Blood Angels. And they had a devastating first turn on us.
Really?
Devastating. With all their pre-move stuff and like their aggressors shooting just mad bolter shots. They were able to kill a whole 40-man unit of cultists that had the +2 to cover, so they had, or the +1 to cover, so they had a 5-up cover save. And then I used the stratagem because they're Iron Warriors to make them 6-up field no pain. They killed that entire unit, another unit of 10, and my Warlord Demon Prince in their first turn. Yeah. It was pretty rough. Like, it was one of those things like, oh, we're going to lose. We are definitely going to lose. And we just kept playing it out. And it got to a point where it was like time, but like we started the tournament late. He let people play past the time of multiple games. And it was like, if we end right now, we lose. But it was like such a good, close game that they were like, let's just keep playing it out. Kept playing it out. Did some crucial mistakes. They had some definite points where they could have just won. Like, if they would have killed his knight at one point, they would have won, but they whiffed. If their Dreadnought would have killed my Demon Prince at one point, they would have won, but he whiffed. Or no, I stuck the save for the 5-up invul. So they had all these opportunities to win, but then it came down to me killing, having my character on the objective, getting an extra couple points, us winning by 1 point.
Solid, man.
So it went from like these crushing like defeats or victories, and then the super close nail biter.
I mean, that's almost kind of what you want, though. You know, like I feel like if you're killing the tournament, you want to have those big early like hypes to get your morale up, and then like have the hard matches at the end.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be an easy matchup. Looking at the army, I did not expect the tricks, especially after FAQ.
Yeah,
like those two paired up, being able to infiltrate 9 inches forward and being able to then rapid fire hard, and then all the pre-movement that Blood Angels can do, getting into your deployment zone and just wiping half or like a quarter of the table away. Pretty intense.
I believe it. I mean, I was really shocked even by the. It's just like an honorable mention to Dark Angels. There was like a Dark Angels player who got 40th in the SoCal Open, which I know it's 40th, but like I haven't seen any Dark Angels players placing like anything like that these GTs. So like the fact that he's the only one to crack it, I'm like, good for you, man. He had some like speeder stuff. Like it's just like seeing like a Necron player up there. You're just like, really? Like, okay. Maybe not quite that disparaging because Imperium, but still, I think it's one of those. I don't think it's going to be winning first place anytime soon, but at least at RTTs and smaller GTs, like that's the kind of list you got to watch out for. Played in the right hands, especially team. That's another thing. I have such a poor understanding compared to you of like the teams games dynamic. Like the first time I went up against Ali and Ryan, like seeing some of the interactions that rules had, I was like devastated. I was like, what the hell? Like you can do that?
Yeah, no, I honestly understand that it can go that deep, but I really don't even play it that way. Like,
Really?
I always played team games with Matt, and we both have his solo armies.
That's
So
true.
it's like we're only
Play
left
what
with
you want.
this one option. And now I've been playing with
Robles.
Robles, and yeah, he had guard for the while, sold his guard, and now he's got some Nurgle stuff.
My God.
Later, Chickerbone. Fun having you.
Adios, chicken.
And yeah, so pairing with him, like I almost like want to run that list at a tournament because it was like a legal 2,000 points list that you can just run. Like
That's awesome.
there was no specialness to it. Like I guess we got a free relic. Like that was really how you looked at that list. Like other than that, it was all legit. Like it was just a super heavy detachment because of the 3 different knights, and then I had a battalion of Iron Warriors and then a battalion of just undivided demons. So
Cool.
yeah, it's a beaut. I liked it. It worked very well. Lots of bodies shooting. He's like he had his renegade knight with the double battle cannons. So they have 72-inch range with what is it, 2d3 shots or 2d6 shots?
I think it's 2d3. I could be wrong though.
I think it's 2d3. But when it's renegade, it's strength 9, not strength 8.
That's cool.
So that actually hurts some things.
Yeah, you did dick toughness 8.
Yeah, and then it comes with a heavy stubber that has 3 shots, and
Not bad.
yeah, but that's each cannon, so that's 2 heavy stubbers, and then the platform alone automatically comes with a heavy stubber. So you get 9 heavy stubber shots, and then 2 of those cannons, so it's 4d3 strength 9, neg 3, I believe, maybe neg 2, d3 damage.
Hey, I'll take that. That's
Yeah.
That's good, especially at that kind of range. Like if it's the kind of shooting platform you're trying to not engage certain targets with, you've got the range and the movement to do it.
Yeah, and then for 1 command point, you reroll all hits, all failed hits.
I imagine that's a declare at the start of shooting phase kind of thing.
Yeah. And then there's the 2 mini knights that had the
onagers or whatever they're called.
Yeah, they're the autocannons.
Those are gross. Those, I mean, since we've seen them, like I remember the first time I saw those in the Knights Codex, that was what I was like, these put out so many shots so good for so cheap. Like,
oh, dude, we said buy the chicken bone, but it's Gordito Spree. Dude, it's hard to read this text. It's so tiny. But yeah, buy Gordito Spree. We enjoy having you the most because you give us money. Sorry, chicken bone. It's true. I'm a whore.
I think Chicken gave us money last time.
Well, he didn't this time.
My God, how fickle we've become.
The money gets to you, man. It gets to you.
You've changed, James.
I told you I'm a whore, man.
$5 is $5, man.
I'm gonna be like Nicki Minaj in this shit.
Oh man, that's just tragic. But yeah. So let's see. We've touched on
competitive play, recent stuff coming out, recent rumors, some kill team. I mean, a hobby on some Shade Fire display board. So that's about the most Shade Fire you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's most things. Do we have any events coming up? Because I know we just had 2 events.
Man, literally, I know, we have our event in November coming up. But besides that, oh God, it's November already.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. Yeah, we have events coming up. I've been a little bad on the 40k train this past week because, like, literally, like leaving a 40k game, I got in like a mild car accident thing, and like that was an excuse to like avoid playing 40k for like 2 more times just because life happens. But
Bullshit.
the models were in the car. I had played Connor. He had that handed defeat, or no, he handed me a handy defeat, which was not quite welcome. I was distasteful. It left a sour taste in my mouth, to be frank. But my models are okay post car collision, and we're excited to start some new concepts. I think I've mentioned I've been list building like crazy since the Gene Stealer Cult rumors. Oh man, Chicken just stuck it to you.
Ah, damn it, Chicken. Putting the bone in the mouth.
Thank you, Chicken. That's very kind of you. We appreciate your donations.
Oh, dude. Hey, people love shut me the fuck up. So, touche, to you.
But yeah, I got kind of distracted there. Yeah, list building. There's a bunch of new concepts. I know when George gets back in a week, quote unquote. We are going to be excited to get back in the studio and actually film some games because unfortunately, the setup is mobile. We'll still be doing our live shows every week up until then, and I'm sure James may stream some painting here and there if time allows.
I'm actually going to be trying to put this tutorial together for these bases. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of this shitty camera, but it is the secret weapon miniature steel invasion bases.
Oh yeah,
they are more of a kind of like a Tyranid type.
I saw there's like crawling vine kind of thing to them going on.
Yeah, definitely have like that alien look. Well, what's nice is these Gellerpox has these bugs, and they very much can still fit this based off just paint job. So I am going to be painting these and doing a full like edited tutorial. It'll be my first edit tutorial. It's going to be like my I'm sorry for being gone and us lacking content. That I'm going to be creating content and giving it to y'all.
Yeah.
So I've been working. Yes, sir.
I may be picking up a Necron commission actually, where I may be doing some models. If I do that, I may do some of that in studio and do a few models anyway with Mr. George.
Fantastic. Yeah, and then also why I've been game planning on my attempt at streaming and making it as clean cut as possible is I've been designing in 3D Tinkercad software. It's an online free software where I'm trying to make a display insert for these bases. But what's hard is getting it to match this and printing it out so that when these set in, it'll all look natural. Because I didn't obviously create these bases, so it's a lot harder to copy someone else's work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, what time is it, by the way?
It is 10 after. We've been going for what, about 50 minutes, give or take?
Well, we're at 50 minutes currently, but we did have a break in the stream.
That's true.
I think we're probably like in about 10 minutes. We have hit our mark. So to review on things, we need George. George is greatly missed. I hope you guys appreciated us without George. I mean, last time George was here, we did only get $9. Now we've gotten 12. So maybe you guys like us better without George.
Listen, we'll take your input. Should we ask George? Should we keep him on the road just doing maintenance? We're open to suggestions here.
I mean, he can become a guest spot. Maybe you can vote him off the island.
I personally feel like we have what's it called? A very good ringleader personality with George. I kind of missed the direction, but at the same time, I like the free form kind of thought isn't half bad. It's definitely, I feel, a more relaxed kind of vibe.
Hey, but to be honest, I could be prepared like George. I just don't have the capabilities to show you cool images. So it's like, why bother? But yeah, comment. I cannot print skulls and damaged Space Marine arms at the scale of the game, but I can print those at like a larger scale because of the quality of the printer. You need more of a resin type printer to get that tiny quality. Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
we're gonna keep George. You guys you didn't chime in. We're gonna keep him. We like him.
yeah, no
And
one.
when he gets back, we're gonna be pumping out a lot more content. So sorry for the lull. And Tabletop Alchemy. We are going to be printing just small game aids to begin with that we've designed, and then we're going to hopefully move into actual terrain, do table sets, anything you guys really want. We will figure out a formula, or hopefully find a formula that's out there so that we can assist people like Comet, so that we can print people's things kind of like how Shapeways does it, but maybe a little bit cheaper and helping us out, because we are just doing this for fun, not expecting to make money on doing Titan Gate over here. We're not starting any GoFundMe's.
Oh man, that whole thing is awesome.
I couldn't help but bring it up. I had to at the end. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I've like honestly, I had legitimately forgot about it for about like I didn't remember it going into this stream, and now that you mentioned it, I'm just like, how did we not talk about that?
We don't need to talk about it. It's been talked about on the interwebs enough. If you want to find it, it's out there.
Oh, the internet's spoken, by the way. They want us to kill George on stream.
Well, they said axe him. Like,
I guess he could survive that.
I mean, that could be an arm. It could be a pinky. I mean, we can auction body parts off. Is that allowed on YouTube? Are we gonna be taken down from YouTube for mentioning that?
I hope not. But
I'm not sure how this works. See, this is why we need them.
Yeah. See, we got to have questions to be answered for the next stream. We'll get on these answers for you.
Yes, but great time. I always appreciate these Thursday nights. Might know a lot of you watch this on Fridays, but hey, you can never join us live like Chicken Bone, Comment, Gerdido.
He's going off to bed, but he's been a welcome addition to our average viewers.
Yeah.
Or regular viewers. I apologize. That was insulting.
Yes. So if you guys don't have anything else to say, then we have nothing else to say. Until next time, keep taking fun seriously.
Adios. Thank you, interwebs. It's been real.